Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Technobabble podcast. Before we get started on this week's episode, which was a really good episode, I finally got to talk to Trumpetmcool. Now, I know most of you probably have no idea who he is, but he's one of the moderators behind several very popular Twitch channels, twitch.tv. We'll be talking about that, but it was a really fun conversation, one of the most fun conversations I've had with someone in a while, so I know you guys are going to love it, but I just want to let you know that when we recorded it, after I'd listened to it, I realized that my mic volume wasn't, it was my fault. I didn't do the test that I should have done to make sure the volumes were correct and everything, but I had my mic volume turned all the way up, or at least louder than I usually have it, and I wasn't aware of that during the interview. But it's still listenable to it. You can, still listenable, whatever the fucking word is. You can still listen to it. It's just, the quality of my particular microphone in this episode isn't as good as it used to be, but I tried to make it a little bit better in post-production here, but you'll still be able to hear it fine. Just kind of bear with me if it sounds a little off, or at least not like it normally does. But anyway, I'm sure you'll still enjoy it. So without further ado, here you go.
Welcome to the Technobabble podcast. Enjoy!
Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the Technobabble podcast. It's Kirk here again. Who else would it be? Today, guys, it took so long to get this little interview lined up. It feels like been 2 weeks now. I don't know if you guys have listened to some of the podcasts and you're like, hey, what Trumpetmcool was supposed to be coming on? Why haven't we heard from him? It took a while, but we finally got him. We finally got a time to sit down and talk. Yeah, so here I'm in Austin Howick. He goes by Trumpetmcool. Some of you may know him now. So how you doing, Austin?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've been excited to do this interview. Life seems to pop up when you least expect it.
Yeah, well, the first time, we'd set up a time, and it was going to be cool because I was going to be able to get him out. By the way, if you haven't noticed, the podcasts and extras have been coming out a little bit kind of not exactly on time lately. I'm still trying to get them out to you as fast as possible, but they've been a little slow the last couple of weeks. But the first issue was I had this right before, it's literally, 10 minutes before we were supposed to start recording that one night, Austin. Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay, it's Sean, day 9. Sean's just finished streaming. I'm ready when you are. And I'm like, okay, cool, give me a minute. And then so I was going through some last minute tests, and literally 15 minutes ago, my sound was working fine. Then all of a sudden, I'm only getting sound out of my left channel, and my left speaker channel. I still don't know how the fuck I fixed it. It took me 45 minutes to try to get it fixed, and by that time, it was just too late, and we decided to reschedule.
I've learned with streaming, if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yeah.
When you least expect it.
Yeah, that was certainly the case. So it sucked, but we finally got back around to getting it done. And so, by the way, I guess if you guys out there don't know who Austin is, again, his online handle in Twitch chat and things are Trumpetmcool. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is you do, so people who may not understand what we're talking about can kind of get an idea.
So if you don't even know what twitch.tv is, it's a video platform. It's kind of like the next big media, it's kind of like TV, and only you can produce it yourself. And there's a chat channel that goes along with it, and I moderate for one of the actually 3 kind of big streamers. Day 9 TV, ItMeJP, and ShannaNina, who's a Dutch streamer. But yeah, that's what I do for as far as modding purposes. But I also do a show on Thursdays and a stream on Saturday. The show on Thursday is called Day Night Time, where I get together with viewers of Day 9, and we have a blast. We have fun. And
we just like play video games together, or just sit around and chat?
Yes. So it was based around Google Hangout, and so we joined a Google Hangout and then play video games together and talk about interesting topics and icebreaker stuff.
Does Sean ever get a chance to do any of that stuff with you, or he's just kind of busy?
So I didn't really want him to come on to the show like immediately, or like, like whenever he wanted to, just because I don't want to like.
You don't want it to be about
I don't want the
him,
show
really.
to get like absolutely like too popular for it to handle.
Right.
You know what
okay.
I mean?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
For like before. We have like safeguards or whatever for a random troll, which actually happened one time. Someone linked the Google Hangout link on Twitter, and apparently there's someone out there
you know who you are
that wants to go and find that and just troll the Google Hangout, and what we had to eventually do was just start a brand new Hangout and continue from there.
So yeah, trolls. I mean, obviously that's one of the biggest reasons that people like you and some of the other moderators that Day9 and JP and Nina use. You guys like. Let me ask you this first. Well, first of all, like I assume that my audience understands everything we're talking about, but if there's any new listeners or people who maybe have an interest but don't really completely understand, I want to just briefly explain. So. Yeah. Like you already kind of said, Twitch TV, that's a place where like you can sit there and stream your own content and potentially make money doing it if you do it successfully for a long enough period of time.
Yes.
And so usually it's gaming content. I think they're starting to branch out a little bit more, but definitely strongly, heavily related towards gaming content. Anyway, it's cool because you can watch these people stream, and there's like a chat room, so you can interact with all the other people watching, assuming they have a Twitch account. And
yes.
Anyway, so like you can imagine when you get streamers who are pulling in 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10,000 viewers on a stream, out of a 4 or 5 hour stream, there's a lot of trolls, a lot of negativity, maybe sexist remarks, racist remarks, things you don't necessarily want in your chat room, to offend the other people who are just there to have fun. So you need guys like Austin here. Now you mentioned you're a moderator. First of all, I've always had this question. Do you ever get to sit down and just watch, like, for example, Day9 play Hearthstone or Starcraft, or are you constantly, like, reading the chat and filtering it?
Well, that's a good question. At first, whenever I first started modding, I was really paying attention to chat and making sure that if, like, people followed along, if viewers of Day9 are listening to this, they probably pick up on like how strict I used to be for Day9's Day Off, which is basically where he streams a video game that people have probably played, but he wants to play them. And so there's a lot of trolls that come along with that, even if they're subscribed, where they want to spoil the game for Sean. And his big thing is that he wants to suffer. The word he used was to suffer the video game.
He wants to experience all the toils and troubles himself. And,
yes, and to learn. So when there's a breaking point, we always like to do hashtag learning. So yeah.
I was going to say, specifically like puzzle games, right? Like I've seen him play Talos Principle and a couple other puzzle games. I imagine there's a lot more spoilers there. I mean, people are just trying to help. Like, you're supposed to do that, but...
well, like you're watching somebody play a game that you've already played, so and you have a chat that the streamer can see, so it's like very tempting to just tell them what to do, Yeah. But yeah, I used to kind of purge like messages, and by purging I mean like deleting what their message was, so Sean doesn't see the spoiler. But over the time, I've tried to better my understanding of what a spoiler is, because people telling Sean how to, like, the mechanics of the game isn't necessarily a spoiler for some games.
Right, and sometimes he'll even ask the chat. I've heard him like, "Hey, what's the button to do this?" That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's so sometimes when you get games like that, I imagine it takes some time away. But generally, you've been around. How long have you? I'm going to stick with Sean here because that's what we're talking about for the time being. How long? First of all, how did you get to know Sean? Were you just hanging out in his chat back in the early days for a long time and got to know him that way, or did you know him some other way?
I actually I got to become a part of the community first before I actually talked to Sean. I helped out with the Fun Day Monday, like whenever.
I do miss those. I got to ask you when those are coming back, but I'll let you finish first. Go ahead.
Yeah. So back whenever Marky Okoa, which is like which is one of the mods in the chat, he was asking for people to help watch Fun Day Monday, which if you don't know what Fun Day Monday is, it's a crazy, like, people are given crazy constraints to play a video game called Starcraft II, and it's really, really fun to watch people try and experiment with a different thing, and
it helps develop the. I guess Sean's point is it kind of helps you learn to play the game in a different way and help devise new strategies.
Yeah. Sometimes he would specifically say a prompt that would maybe change the state of the game, like the meta of the game, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But he'd I think, one time he did something and it just kind of changed the way people were doing things. It's pretty cool to see that. But there are people who watch the replays of that Sean eventually sees and does on his show. And I was one of the I wanted to help out with being one of those people who looked at the replays.
Oh, yeah.
And I signed up for that, and I got involved that way.
So he would get, I'm assuming, I don't know, but at least hundreds, if not maybe thousands of replays to be on the show, and he can only have, like, maybe 3 or 4 at a time on his, 3-hour show that he does. So, he needs help, and you were one of those guys that got to help review the replays and say, hey, here, I like this one, what do you think?
Yep. And I later became the team the team leader for the people who watched. I kind of stepped up the plate for that just because I thought it could be done better. And what was this thing?
I was talking about how you got to know Sean.
Oh yeah, so there was the Fun Day Monday, and I also got to help out Marky Okoa. He was trying to make a IRC bot, and which is kind of like a terminal version of the chat, like Linux kind of thing, where it's kind of stripped down, and you can create a bot, if you guys know what that means, but it's like something to help out with the chat.
Right, kind of somewhat of an auto moderator or a question answer or something kind of like that.
Yeah. That will help moderate, like, to help with the moderators, because at the time I don't think there was a sub mode. It was kind of just like the Matrix, because there was like 4,000 people in chat, or at least, and if not more. And it's just like a lot of people talking at once, and it's like really hard to control. But yeah, he was trying to help with that, and I was one of the I helped him debug it and stuff. And I also like played with some of the moderators, and I just got involved with the community because it's an awesome community to get involved with.
I do agree.
Yeah, because they like, Sean wants us to promote positivity and it's just like I can't say anything negative about it. So it's like there's no reason not to be a part of the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I unfortunately, like, I'm not subscribed to any Twitch
that is
right now.
Totally okay, man. Like,
but I'm saying I used to be. Like, I used to be, back when I could have, my money wasn't so tight. I would sub to those guys all the time. So if you got an extra $5, see somebody on Twitch. Like, I personally, I'm recommending Day 9. He's the one who made me fall in love with StarCraft and Twitch altogether. So check him out. If you guys have never heard of him, that's the guy we're talking about. But
yeah.
Well, let me ask you though, when you so you talked about basically the way you kind of got in the door, so to speak, is so I mean, how did that work at the time? Okay, because I wasn't there in the very early days when Funday Monday first started. But so how did he just reach out to you guys on Twitch and say, hey, who wants to help me out, or did you guys email him? I mean, how did he select those people that I guess filtered those replays for him?
Well, I wasn't there whenever it was first created, but I imagine that he probably talked to the moderators, and that's what the plan they came up with. Like I kind of came in whenever it was set up, and they were wanting more help. So yeah, that's sorry that didn't really answer your question, but
You just were kind of in the right place at the right time.
Sorry. He does talk, like, he will, like, interact with us trying to figure out which games are better and stuff like that. If he needs another game, he would message us and stuff like that. Okay,
so, like, I feel like, feel like I'm being really biased here, because, again, I'm a huge Day 9 fan and always have been. At least as far as I started watching him. The thing is, I think it's fair to say, unfortunately, we can all say at this point, StarCraft II over about the last year and a half to 2 years has started kind of losing steam. You know what I mean? Is there a particular reason? I think a lot of people who don't already know the answer to this question are asking this question. People, I've seen it in Twitch chats and message boards and Reddit and stuff. People want to know, is Sean done with StarCraft? Like, why is he not streaming so much StarCraft anymore? Can you answer that for him, or do you know?
Yeah, I have a comment. Sean, his original passion was StarCraft. That was the game he fell in love with. And it's not that he doesn't want to play, like, it's not like he doesn't want to play StarCraft or, like, do daily StarCrafts. It's just, right now he's working a full-time job for artillery, to create a video game. So it's gonna, like, I could say this. So it's a video game, an RTS game that's kind of in the browser. So think of no
downloads required, basically.
Right. So think of, like, if you've ever played a RTS game, you can remember back to whenever you first installed it. It took like hours to patch and stuff like that.
Right. Like StarCraft II does sometimes.
Yep. And with this, it's just a link to a URL, to a page, and it loads it pretty fast. Within a minute or two, depends on your connection and stuff. But yeah, it's really, really cool, and I actually helped playtest with that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, a lot of the and a good number of the day nights do as well, because we're a bunch of gamers, and it's like, why not reach out to them? Yeah, I was going somewhere with this. So he, StarCraft. So he has this job, and also for a normal StarCraft daily, it takes about at least 2 to 3 hours, or like, it takes a while just to do a daily. For Hearthstone, all he has to do is pick up a deck and start playing with it. And it gives them a lot more chances to be interactive with this community, and it's just a lot. I mean, you guys can go check out his words on Reddit. There's a Reddit post that he made in response to this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that he doesn't want to ever play StarCraft II or stream it. It's just now is not a good time.
Yeah, well, that's totally understandable. Yeah, I've heard him actually talk about his project he's working on, that browser-based RTS you were talking about. And man, it sounds like it's going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait till it's open to the public. I'm looking forward to that. And that's always, from what I understand, you know, I've watched this probably as many dailies as I could, and I've heard him talk. You know, the whole reason he went to school. Well, he was a math major, but he became interested. He was always interested in programming and designing games. And so I think I think that's really cool. We ended up as a StarCraft II pro for a while actually. For 10, 15 years. Yeah. He became what he always kind of wanted to do, or at least he's in that spot now. He's got that opportunity, and I'm excited for him for that. But speaking back to StarCraft though, Legacy of the Void, it's there's a lot of people who's got that demo out or that beta rather, and they're playing it, and it looks pretty exciting. Have you had are you privy to that? Have you played Legacy of the
Void? Since I didn't really ladder much with I didn't get a key for it. I'm not much of a ladder person myself. I tried doing that, and back in the day, I tried streaming that, but it just takes a lot of dedication. And if the only thing I was going to do is ladder, then I would gladly do it, but I just don't have time.
Dude, I totally understand. Like I'm in Silver League right now. Well, in all honesty, if I tried hard for a few minutes, I could easily get the gold. That's where gold is kind of where I'm comfortable.
That's how I felt. Like if I put my time and energy to it, I probably could. I got up to silver, but I probably could go to gold, or at least I don't have the dexterity that it requires to perform quickly. It's Sean put it like it's like you're a musician with like a violinist. You have to know. It takes practice, and
you have to know where that has to come. That like muscle memory, the way your fingers move and the way your brain works. Yeah.
So that your brain can just work and not have to worry about your hands.
Right, and yeah, you're right. Like for a while there, I had a rough patch in my life where I was going through a lot of depression. My first divorce, my only divorce, and so I turned to like an online gaming clan, and I fell in love with. I mean, I'd always been playing. I played StarCraft II since it first came out, and then the expansions and everything else. I've been playing it off and on, but it was during that time. I kind of when I found Twitch and when I found Sean. Or Day 9, and I watched his, Newbie Tuesdays and his Fun Day Mondays and his, StarCraft dailies, and it made me really want to it was fun. It took when I was playing StarCraft, I was thinking about nothing else, and it was competitive, and I'm a pretty competitive person, so I worked hard on it, and I streamed it for a good long time, but, eventually you realize that, okay, I'm not going to be pro at this game, at least not anytime soon, and I've got to pay some bills, so I can't afford to play it that much. But it's still a really fun game to play. And with Legacy of the Void, I guess I keep getting off track myself. But the point I was trying to ask a minute ago, no, it's not your fault. Legacy of the Void, though, you think Sean's going to be playing that? He's going to be. You think we'll see some more dailies on Legacy of the Void? You think?
I cannot say. I don't think Sean can say either because it's kind of unknown of what the future is for him, because we're dealing with the game development of the development process of a game especially the way they're doing it, which I like. It's just it takes time, so I don't know what the timing will be. And it's not that he doesn't like StarCraft II Legacy of the Void. It's just, just bad timing.
Right, yeah.
And if he does ever, he will announce it on Twitter or, on his website. He'll let you guys know. But for right now, it's best just to be patient and learn to love Hearthstone, because that's what I did whenever it came out on the phone. I became instantly addicted. Thank you for putting it on the phone.
I second that. That was as soon as I started playing this game, like that Hearthstone. I was like, this should be on the fucking phone, man. This is like this. Yeah. I really want to play. But and then it came out, and so I'm happy about that. I do like Hearthstone, largely thanks to Day 9 as well, because when he switched, I'm like, you know what? If I fell in such a love with the guy, I'm like, if this is a game he likes, let me give it a shot. And it looked like, and I always like Magic the Gathering, and it looked to me a lot like Magic the Gathering. It's different, but still same.
Yeah, my problem was that I didn't really have time to dedicate on the computer, but now that it's on the phone, I can dedicate more of time to it. So that's.
So how many hours would you say a week you spend actually moderating streams?
It depends on their schedule. Because sometimes they just decide to change their schedule because it fits their lifestyle.
Right.
Nina just decided to stream earlier because she was going to bed around at 2 a.m. her time for North American streamers, or for North American viewers, because she streams in the Netherlands. So she's a Dutch streamer. And she's really good at speaking English. So you can't really, it's hard to tell her accent, but yeah, she streams at a time that was good for North American viewers.
And when she streams Counter-Strike or League of Legends,
yeah. She streams League of Legends, she just recently picked up Counter-Strike. She's kind of like a variety streamer. And she does musical stuff.
Okay.
So she'll do a song for a donation or a subscriber. And yeah, she brings music into her stream, and it's really cool.
So what I'm curious to know, I guess this, I'm gonna ask these two questions kind of simultaneously. I guess I don't know the best way. Sure. Whatever. I'm just gonna follow my words right now. So obviously, I feel like you kind of got in with Day 9's community before ItMeJP or Nina LL streams. Right. And so, I mean, obviously, I know that Sean and JP are kind of good friends. They've become friends over the years, and they even interact on each other's stream. Is that kind of how you shifted over to JP there, because of Sean?
That's exactly how I went to JP and to ShannaNina. So JP is a friend of Sean's, and ShannaNina is a viewer of Sean. So, yeah, that kind of just worked that way. JP is a variety streamer, and
he streams a lot though. Like, what do you do when they're like all three streaming simultaneously?
I gotta pick one. Like, I can't watch them all three, because then I don't fully dedicate myself. Like, I don't. I want to be able to dedicate my listening to the streamer, and sometimes I've moderated for all three at once. But luckily, with JP, there are a lot of moderators, so it's not like I'm the only one moderating at the time.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you get a little bit of help there.
Yes.
And Nina, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm probably gonna get hate from this, but honestly, Nina is not a streamer I watch. I'm sure she's a great streamer. It's just, I've got a handful of other streamers. I don't have much time. I've only got so much time, and there's just a handful of other I'm dedicated to right now. But how new is she? Because I know JP and Sean have been on Twitch forever, but Nina, yeah. I haven't heard of her, so I feel like she's fairly new.
Yeah, she's been streaming for a year or two. She just picked it up and started doing that full time, and she has a knack for it. She's really interactive with the viewers, and she has a subscriber button, and it's I don't know, she's like, if I could watch a lot of other streamers, trust me, I would. I can't watch all of them and be sane. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But the ShannaNina and JP and Day9 are just three that stick out to me as really interesting streamers. They just catch my drift, and I mean, like, I just like watching them, and I also like moderating for them. So it's good, because there are some streams that don't really care about negative comments or trolls, and it's kind of hard to rein yourself in to allow that to happen when you're used to, only keeping the chat positive. So, yeah. If I told you what went inside my head while I moderate, it's pretty crazy.
Give us a little peek, just a tiny peek.
It's just, I don't know. It's like, well, at least for Day9, it's really, it's not as bad. But you have to, for the regular viewer, you can pretty much do anything you want, unless if a moderator tells you to. And like, so if you want to troll, you can troll inside of like JP's chat or ShannaNina's. Day9 has subscriber mode during the stream, just to help facilitate a community and weed out people who don't want to be in the community.
Right.
So, yeah, for regular streams, there are, I have to make sure that, topics don't go too controversial, like, sometimes like politics and religion just doesn't add up inside of a Twitch chat, because
Then they're not talking about the game anymore, or they're turning into a riot almost.
Well, I mean, they can talk about other things that are not what's being streamed, but I feel like topics that many people have different opinions on is not usually the best place to talk about. Like, that's not what you talk about inside of Twitch.
Right.
That's what you would talk about, like, in a Skype conversation or on Twitter.
Or on a podcast.
Yeah, on a podcast, but yeah. So yeah, there's that aspect, and also being prepared for whatever anyone says about the streamer. If a random person comes in and insults the streamer, then you have to purge them. I mean, like, it's not that people can't say what they want to. It's just, why come into a chat room and say something negative about the streamer when you can just exit the window?
Right. My theory on that is, I feel like a lot of people, especially, I think I learned this back when I was streaming. People would just come into your room just to see if they could get their name said on stream, or just to see if they could aggravate you. And it's a little bit of immaturity and people goofing off and just wanting to kind of bring down the vibe. And you're going to have people like that. You got to,
And you also have to, like, as a moderator, you have to remember what people say, because if some person, like, just does what you said, just tries to get on a moderator's nerve, just by saying, I want my name said on stream, then eventually you got to say, stop. Usually I warn people in chat before I actually do anything to, before I start purging. But I will, depending on what they say, if it's too offensive, then I'm just going to purge them and then say, hey, don't say that. And by purging, so Twitch gives you a timeout and a banned command. Mm-hmm. And timeout is for 10 minutes. A ban is forever until you're unbanned. And when I say purge, that means a timeout for 1 second. So all of your messages have been deleted, and you can talk right after it.
Okay, right. It's just if you use profanity or something the streamer doesn't allow in their room, it'll just delete that message, but only that message or series of messages.
Sometimes there are bots like Nightbot and Exambot, which randomly decided to join my stream one day. Just I don't, it's weird, but so there are bots can time out like links or specific characters. If you spam characters and stuff like that, it can purge it. And but it just depends on the community that you're in and what fits best for your community.
Right. Hey, swinging over to JP real quick, because JP's I've been following him for a long time. Now JP is, you would say, well, he used to be a variety streamer, and he kind of still is. He streams different things, but what he's kind of known for these days, at least over the last couple of years, has been his role play series. And I actually had the cool opportunity of talking to Adam, one of his GMs. And so that was a lot of fun. I just got curious, because I know you obviously moderate for him. Do you have a favorite role play that you kind of try to always tune into? What's your favorite that's like on right now?
Oh, well, see, like, my thing is that I just don't have time to watch. I used to be able to watch it, some of them, but I just something would come up and I would miss one. But the R&D series is probably my favorite, just because they bring in different personalities that are not of the normal D&D scene into it, and try and show them the ropes, and they put on their own perspective on things, and it's really cool. Sean actually got to be on an R&D.
That's one of my favorite R&D episodes, actually.
Yes. So yeah, if you haven't gone to see that was really fun.
Yeah, we're talking about, and I really hope that most of my listeners know all this shit I'm talking about, because it would disappoint me if you guys don't. But for those of you that may be following me for the first time, just to check it out, it's D&D, obviously, as most of the world knows, is Dungeons and Dragons, and JP McDaniels, he's over the last couple of years has built kind of this, I guess I'd call it a franchise, I don't know, but definitely a series of role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games, such as Dungeons and Dragons and things very, very similar, where it's just a group of guys talking, but there's a lot of fun and a lot of comedy involved.
Yeah, he's kind of taken D&D and publicized it, because before he started to stream it, there wasn't. I never really heard of D&D, and since that's been going on, like D&D stuff have been popping up. There's a D&D campaign that's going on in the day nights. So.
That's cool. Even one of my close friends that I've been talking to, and he streams from time to time. He's a dungeon master himself. My guys over at Crit Confirm. If you guys follow me on Twitter or follow me at all, you've heard me talk about him a lot. But lots of new Dungeons and Dragons things popping up, and I just love, and JP's always got great guests on, like Dodger, and like I mentioned, Adam and Steven and Neil and Jesse Cox in Control.
In Control is so good.
So all of those are that's pretty cool. Now I want to ask you though, since you do a lot of modding for these guys, and obviously you're a big gamer yourself, and you follow Twitch and things like that. Do you get a chance to get out to any of the MLGs or the Comic Cons or anything like that?
Oh yes, I actually got to go to BlizzCon this past year. That was a lot of fun. That's when I actually got to meet Sean for the very first time.
Oh really?
In person. But yeah, we had talked on Skype, and we messaged each other on Skype, but we hadn't really seen each other in person because I live in Louisiana and he lives in California. So yeah, I got to see him for the very first time. There's pictures on Twitter. If you want to go see that, it's basically him signing my shirt as I stand awkwardly. But it was a really funny thing.
Even though you've known Sean for a very long time and you've been monitoring for him and you even have private conversations with him and stuff, were you still a little nervous to meet him, or you it was like seeing an old friend?
Yeah, it was kind of both, but more towards an old friend. Just because whenever I first started talking to him, like in a Skype call for Atlas, I was kind of that way. But yeah, it was surreal getting to see the guy that who kind of inspired me to do all the things that I do now, and who has a lot of good life lessons and stuff. So it's really cool just getting to see that guy.
Yeah. One of his, you would know. I can't remember the daily, but the daily where he spends like 3.5 hours just talking about his life in StarCraft. What daily was that?
Oh, 100.
Daily 100.
Yep.
That's a huge inspiration. Like, if you guys have the time, I think it's on YouTube, or go to his website, day9.tv.
It's got like 3.5 million views.
Yeah, it's if you guys just want a good like inspiration, or if you're even a vague fan of StarCraft II, or just people in general, he's such a good guy. Go check that out.
Like, you can definitely tell like the passion he puts into gaming, and he just kind of describes like StarCraft II is not just a regular game that you play. It's a
lifestyle.
It changes his life. It changes his life.
And that's an inspiring story. I'd love to be able to get Sean on the show one day. I tweet him out every now and then and send him emails. Maybe one day he'll respond, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you can put in a good word for me. Maybe, I don't know, but I'd love to be able to talk to him in person and get into more detail about that. But now, as I mentioned, Sean is all of these guys, but Sean was my first love. In kind of a weird way. But all of these guys that we've been talking about have been huge inspirations to me. And even you, like I said, you got to know these guys, hang out with them. Now you're a big part of their community. And even to me, that's inspiring in itself. And so you branched out kind of now, and you're doing your own thing. We talked a little bit about day-night time. So tell us a little bit more about that and kind of the other like games you kind of playing right now.
Yeah. Kind of going like a little back before day-night time, but so I started streaming kind of like a little bit after I found out Sean. After I discovered Sean, I tried streaming on for my own size, and I got some, it was a lot of fun, but I didn't really have a goal or anything. I just kind of was streaming to have fun. Well, I mean, I still have fun, but like I just didn't really have a plans, like, a plan for what I wanted to do. And so that was during school, like during the last few years of school. And then after college, I kind of tried to figure out myself what I wanted to do, and then all of a sudden, I started to get more involved in the day-night community, and there was a National Writing Month group. If you don't know about NaNoWriMo, it's basically writers get to, write a novel or 10,000 words or something like that in a month, which is ridiculous. But I couldn't do that. But there was some people in the day-night community that wanted to get together. Steph Lively, the community manager of Day9 TV, decided to put together a Google Hangout, and during the month of November, and decided they got together to try and if day night writers had writer's block, they could talk it out and try and push each other to do better and stuff like that, which is really cool. But after November, they were just like, oh, well, it's over. We should hang out some more. So, or we should keep doing this.
Right.
And they decided to hang out weekly. And I joined one of the hangouts, and I had a blast. I stayed up till up to 2 or 3 in the morning, just goofing off and having fun.
Awesome.
So a few times after that, I decided to stream it, because I wanted other people to, experience the fun we were having. So the very first episode of Day Night Time was the first time I decided to stream it. So I kind of just I just went in with it, and it kind of just happened.
And it just took off from there?
Yeah. So the very first episode was me playing Minecraft while everyone else was watching.
Okay.
In a Google Hangout. So they were like, well, why don't we play a video game? So the next show, the next episode, we decided to play a multiplayer game. So, and then it kind of just developed from there. It's divided into 4 parts. The first part is kind of like the icebreaker, the introduction to the show, how you can get involved in the community. There's a weekly update that different day nights can do them, they can be involved in it. I asked people to so it's not just me saying the same thing over and over again. You get a different perspective and a different person. There's then the weekly and then the icebreaker question to try and get there's that words.
Yeah, they're hard to use sometimes. It's okay.
What?
I said words are hard to use sometimes. It's okay.
Yes. So there's an icebreaker question, which I basically tried to impart on it because it allows people that wouldn't normally talk while we play video games to have a moment to say something and give their perspective on things. And then we played 2 video games in the second and third part. And then the fourth part, we kind of just chillax and talk about random stuff. And then we do shout-outs for people who do different things so people can find out what they do. And then that's the end of the show.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty cool thing. I know you invited me to come do it one night last week. I was busy though, but maybe I can hop in on that with you guys here soon.
Yeah. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Hopefully I can be able to do that here. Yeah, we'll talk more about that later on. But so, what is there anything else that I know you're an instrument designer? That's actually something we have in common. Well, I don't design instruments, but I was a music major in college, and I conduct and arrange and compose and play different instruments and things like that.
It's actually a different instrument designer.
So we're not talking about musical instruments?
No, unfortunately not. I'm talking about instruments inside of a chemical plant.
Oh, well, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have less in common than I thought, but it's still intriguing.
Actually, I did arrange music when I was in high school. So.
Oh, okay. We're back on track then.
Yeah, Trumpetmcool. So I that's where the name came from because I like trumpets.
Oh, cool. I like trombones, but trumpets are still cool.
Yeah. Brass is cool.
Brass. There we go.
Yeah. So yeah. back when I had lots and lots of free time, unlike now, I kind of messed around with a program called Finale.
Yep,
and,
I'm very familiar with Finale.
Yeah, a lot of musical people probably know about Finale. It's a composing program. It kind of helps you. You can just put a note down on paper and it'll play it back for you. And I kind of think I'm not trying to be like elitist or anything, but I feel like my ears are different from everyone else. And
in what way?
I mean, I guess every ear is different.
Yeah, well, I know, but like I'm trying to get inside your head.
Yeah. But I like different counter melodies and stuff that you don't really necessarily think about.
You hear music in a different way than most people do. Is that
yes,
what you're saying?
music is kind of a part of who I am. And
so is it kind of like when most people like would be like, I have no idea what chords they're playing, but it sounds good. You'd be like, oh, that's just a 1 minor 6 4 5 progression.
I wasn't gifted with that.
Okay.
It's and that takes a lot of practice and stuff. My thing is like if you watch me like listen to music, I'll probably get into the music, and I'm not one to just sit there and listen to it like without moving my body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I do that all the time, especially in the car.
yeah, and like I usually like to get into music. It's not something I listen to. It's something that's a part of me. So yeah, and also whenever I listened to stuff back in high school. There were things that I listened to, and I was like, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if I did this and this?" And I tried it out, and it sounded really cool. But yeah, I arranged the Hallelujah chorus to be played by trumpets. I think a sextet of trumpets, so 6 trumpets. And I actually got to play that with 5 other of the trumpet players from my high school in a Christmas concert. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty cool. Yeah, dude. We actually like when we're done with this, we need to stay in touch and like exchange arrangements and compositions because I do the same thing. I play in a community band here. I also sometimes help direct, but I wrote because a community band, like we don't have an oboe, we've got like one French horn. Our instrumentation is off the wall. So I figured I'm a pretty good arranger. I'm not great, but I can do something that sounds decent. And so I arranged an original composition. It was, well, I say original. It's original because the themes I used were public domain. But I did Yankee Doodle and Yankee Doodle Dandy in kind of a composition that would fit our instrumentation. I tried to send it off and get it published. So yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. That sounds really cool. We could do a whole podcast on just talking about that, but I don't know if listeners would be interested in hearing all that. But
whatever. I could talk about music. But yeah.
So yeah. Man, it's like time has flown by. It feels like I haven't barely started talking to you, but we need to wrap it up a little bit.
Unpack.
Anyway, hey man, thanks for coming on the show. Go ahead, and if you want to give out shout out your stream or any shout outs you want to give, now's the floor is yours.
Okay, sweet. So I'd like to give a shout out to the people who help out with the show. The Steph Lively is the mastermind behind who started it all. Nomick, Nomikh, is the person who usually starts the hangout each week, and probably one of the most consistent people is Cerebral09. I'd like to give a shout out to him. He's really cool. He's Canadian. I found out Canadians are really, really cool.
Canadians are really, really cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to this community and stuff. I've noticed a lot of cool Canadians. Actually, the person Niall, DJ Nile is a Canadian who does the music for the show. I actually get to have a day night who's doing music for the show. So my whole thing is the show is by day nights for day nights. So
that's an awesome. And do you have to be a subscriber of Day 9, or can as long as you're just a fan?
So the big thing about what a day night is that it's a viewer of Day 9. So you do not have to be subscribed. It's just a way to support Day 9. So if you do not have the funds but would like to watch, and you can totally be a day night. It's just about being cool and awesome and having fun and being positive. So
awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, there's DJ Nile. I think I'm getting that right. And yeah, another Canadian does some. One of his friends does some of the artwork for the show as well. He's Canadian, and yeah. There's shout out to Manbon, because I'm sure he's gonna want to shout out. Shout out to RSWAP and Govert Muffin for being awesome. And for anyone who I didn't get to shout out to you, you know who you are. And you can find me on Twitter at Trumpetmcool. Sounds just like it spells just like it sounds. My Twitch is twitch.tv/TrumpetMcool. My YouTube is youtube.com/TrumpetMcoolTV. There's something about YouTube, but I've decided to not stress over uploading, because there's anyways.
It can be complicated. I understand.
Yeah.
All right, hey, but thanks so much, Austin, man. It's been great. I'm glad we finally got to sit down and have this talk, and I feel like we'll be talking again in the future very soon.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
All right. So that's going to wrap it up this week, guys. But just remember, guys, life's too short. Do the shit that makes you happy.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
This concludes the Technobabble podcast. If you would like to leave feedback, please send us an email to thetechnobabblepodcast@gmail.com, or feel free to reach out to us via Twitter @thetechnobabble. Thanks for listening. See you next time.